Today is September 24th, and we have turned the corner. Kind of a big one, as we are now starting the New Testament. And in our reading today, we've got a plethora of options to talk about things. We've got Mark 1, we've got Luke 1, John 1, Matthew 1, into Luke 3. There's just so much. Matthew, of course, big on genealogy. And what's important about the different Gospels and the way that we understand them is Matthew, Mark, and Luke are what is referred to and called the Synoptic Gospels, and they're very similar in material, if you will. And then John is kind of separate on its own. Each Gospel is written with a different audience in mind, right? Matthew, to the Jews, Jesus is presented as the king, and so he begins with the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Mark, more towards discipleship and towards a different kind of crowd. Just quick, here it is, here's the facts, here's what you need to know. John, driven that you might believe. Luke, he's the Son of Man, right? And so each of these different aspects bear in mind as you read through the Gospels and just enjoy rediscovering, right? And take note of the life of Jesus, the words of Jesus, how people interact with him, how he reacts to and interacts with others. Nothing that's written down is by accident. It's all purposeful and on cue, if you will. And so when we look at Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 17, we got the generations from Abraham down to Jesus. And you're like, okay, what's the big deal about that? Well, again, he's demonstrating and pointing out, for those who are looking for a Messiah king, Jesus fits the bill. As we go to Mark 1, it says, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. He wants the same focus. He wants you to know who he is. Luke chapter 1, as much as many have undertaken to compile a narrative of the things that have been accomplished among us, just as those who were from the beginning were eyewitnesses and ministers of the word, have delivered them to us. It seemed good to me also, having followed all things closely for some time past, to write an orderly account to you, most excellent Theophilus, that you may have certainty concerning the things you have been taught. And so that's how Luke begins. How does John begin? I know you've probably heard this and you're going to read it, but John chapter 1, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him. Without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of man. The light shines in the darkness. The darkness has not overcome it. Just in these simple verses, just a few that we've read out of our readings today, we get introduced to Jesus in the kingly line of David. We get introduced to Jesus as the Son of Man, the Son of God. It's the Word made flesh. He's fully God. I mean, if that's all you read and you go, okay, who's Jesus? You quickly get a picture, right? And I think that's important for us to understand right from the get-go. The Gospels isn't just some nice stories, isn't just story time with Jesus, right? It's intentional, purposeful, as John will say at the end of his Gospel, written so that you might believe. Whereas Luke tells Theophilus, an orderly account of these things, of things you have been taught, right? So you have a record, and you can look through it, and you can study it, and you can allow the Word of God to impact and change your life. And so as we go through the New Testament here, September 24th to the end of the year, let's ask God to speak to us and draw near to him more than ever before. Till next time, keep growing, little by little.